Rachel.
I'm Hannah.
And we're from Bungo Sign Co in Glasgow, Southside. We are here to teach a short workshop for beginner sign painters and also some more experienced folk. Just a couple hour session. So some basic strokes and filling in some shapes and some more advanced things like bevels, casual lettering and how to make things look more 3D.
So it's Rachel, myself and Duncan, who goes by Peace Signs. We've got our studio in the south side of Glasgow. We work as our own entities, like as individual people, but we work together on like larger projects. But yeah, we're just like a collective in Glasgow.
Yeah, and we were established in August just last year,
yes.
So we're quite new, and our studio space is a kind of chilly basement unit, but we've kind of moulded it into just a very nice space for specifically sign painting works. We've got like a shared area with easels up, space to gild, as well as a huge big cupboard for all of our stuff. And then we've got spaces for us to each individually work on computers. So it works really well for us. And we also love being in the south side amongst all the independent coffee shops and ice cream shops and fun stuff like that. So we really like it. I got into sign writing through graphic design. I studied at Edinburgh College of Art from 2012 to 2016, and I also did a kind of 6-month abroad studying in Boston. So I did a hand lettering for design course over there, but I didn't know what sign writing was until I came back, and kind of did some more research myself, and then found out that it was an actual trade that you can do. So researched it into myself, and got in touch with Kieran Globell, who runs Globell Signs in Glasgow, and did a kind of 6-month rough intern kind of apprenticeship type thing with him, and then I got my own studio space, and I was there for about 5 years before we formed the collective.
Yeah, so I worked in hospitality for years, and because I was kind of the like arty creative one, I would always do like the chalkboards, and like there was a bar I worked in, we had live music, and I'd do the window displays of what bands were playing that month. And at first it was just kind of like a little fun thing, and then I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy this, and every time I'd do it I'd be thinking like, oh, I might try this style, or oh, I saw this style, I might try this, and it was kind of like free practice. And then I kind of realised like through Instagram and following people like Rachel and Kieran and like other people that it was actually a job and it was like a real thing. So I started taking like workshops kind of similar to what we were going to be doing this evening. Yeah, just kind of snowballed from there, and then I went over to Minnesota in 2019 to work with Mike Meyer for about a month, and that was really good. He just taught me so much, and then yeah, just kept going, and then met Rachel about 1.5 years ago now. And then here we are.
I would say I actually just get so much of inspiration from other sign painters, and that's the beauty of Instagram, is that it is completely worldwide. So you can look at what people are painting in India, Australia, Japan, east and west coast of the States, South America, like literally all over the place. And I think that's kind of made everything worldwide. I think before the internet, sign painting was just so concentrated into little areas, and there'd be like a Scottish style and English style, but now everything is like, you can just get inspiration from anywhere, and it just makes everything like wildly diverse, which is really cool. Apart from that, colour palettes of Scotland in general, nice bright, I love a vibrant colour palette, which I use in most of my work. Inspiration is everywhere.
Yeah, also like being out of the lockdown now and like lucky enough to like travel a bit more. Like you were in Italy last year, yes. I was recently in India, and like as you were saying, like seeing stuff on Instagram, but also just going out into like new places and looking at what different styles, especially I found when you go to a different country and it's in a different language, because you're not reading the word, you're like looking at how it looks, so you actually like have a different understanding of it.
That's true, yeah, especially different characters.
Colour palettes as well. I also love like going into like vintage shops, like old packaging, old biscuit tins.
Yeah. I would say my sign writing style is just very bright. I like using, I think you'd call them like tertiary colours, so I guess like aquas and oranges and pinks and colours like that, and using 3Ds and white to like highlight things. That's what I'm all about. I've started doing a lot more gold on glass work as well, I'm doing some recreation of some old adverts in gold, which I'm quite excited to see like fully finished. But yeah, I mean, I think it always changes, and that's like the nice thing about it.
It's hard to describe what your style is because, for one, you kind of see it differently as other people see it, I think, so it's quite hard to describe, and then it also feels like it's changing all the time. Definitely like brighter colours, like I'll always typically go for yellow and blue. That's like...
Yeah, so you're like a primary colour gal.
Yeah, I'm a big primary colour girl, I love that. Yeah, I kind of like that sort of like retro primary colour. I literally love like primary school design. Like, like I feel like I'm one step away from painting Comic Sans. Like, everything. It's so much better than working in your own individual space.
I think mostly what I like about a collaborative space more than it's just being able to bounce ideas off of each other, and even just for like general chat and a moan and like having a cup of tea, it's just so much better. And if you're having to lift heavy signs, move loads of paint, like cut wood like we did the other day, we were helping each other cut wood, it's just like so handy to have a second pair of hands. And also like for backup, if you're sending out quotes to someone and you'd be like, oh, what do you think about that and that, sometimes the other person is like, oh, we would just this part or just this part, so that's really handy. And just also like get inspired on work as well. So Hannah's been working on quite a lot of floral work that you started doing before you went to India, and I'm doing more gold work, so just seeing what everyone else is doing and then having a little look and taking on some more knowledge.
Sharing lots of like tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff is nice. Like sometimes you'll be doing something, I'll be like, oh, that's a lot quicker than the way I do it.
Yes.
You know, so there's just, you're always kind of picking up things, and you're bouncing ideas off each other, and when you're kind of like doubting yourself, it's really good to have someone there to be like, oh, is this not very good, or am I
just in your own head?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, very good for confidence. We're also doing like little things with other sign painters from wider areas as well. So we're doing a screening of the sign painters film that Better Letters is doing this Saturday coming. So we're bringing in loads of other painters from Edinburgh and Glasgow and places like that to screen it on the projector. So it's just like having a bigger space like that just means we get to do fun things all together, and it's just like great crack.
I liked Olivia's, the gold.
Oh yeah, that was a really nice big one to get our teeth into. So Olivia's Gelateria was in the west end of Glasgow, and it was a big massive pink shop front. It was great.
Another ice cream shop.
And they wanted little bits of gold and 6 of the windows around the sides, and then a big kind of splash piece of gold, and 2 the names on the fascias as well. So it was like a good week and a half worth of work, and it was nice and sunny, and me and Hannah just worked alongside each other the whole time, and it was just really good to be able just to whack loads of gold on a window and see it all like come together in the end as being like a nice big flashy kind of piece of work.
And really concentrating on like the process of gilding, and like it felt quite like therapeutic.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Personally, I did a job a few years ago for Satellite in the Sky in Shawlands in Glasgow, a tattoo place, and I was just given a colour palette and some vintage travel posters, and I made this, what I think was one of my best pieces, which is like this guy with like a moon and things like that, and it's still up on their they moved places and they took the sign with them, and it's in the new one as well. So every time I go past it, I look at it and think, oh, that was quite a good job, I like doing that one.
I think one of the other ones for me would be helping on the Fearless mural.
Oh yeah.
For COP26 in Glasgow back in 2021. The Fearless Collective, they came over to do a mural for COP26 about Indigenous people and how climate change is impacting them, and how we need to really focus the conversation onto them instead of, it was all very like political at the time. So we did a really big mural in Merchant City in Glasgow. It's like a portrait of 2 Indigenous people. We crammed that into maybe like 5 days or something, but it was this huge, like 22 feet gable end. And we worked till like 2 in the morning most nights trying to get it done, but it was amazing.
I'd say a big career highlight would just be starting Bungo Sign Co. Feels like something which is like bigger than just us, which is a really nice thing to do, especially in sign painting, because I feel as if like so many people just go about it as the lonely sign painter, kind of like silently painting away and things like that. But I think just over the last couple of months we've gained quite a lot of like traction from people being interested in like, oh, didn't even know either they don't know sign painting was a thing, or if they do then they didn't know we could work in like bigger groups together and in the same space. So that's been like so great so far.
Yeah, I think like adding on to that, like I've had friends of mine being like, oh, I kind of thought you were the only sign painter, you know, because it's like not a very like common job. It's sort of like, oh wow, you like know other sign painters, and I'm like, yeah, I know quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for us to like remember that people don't necessarily come across it every day, because we just live and breathe sign painting. Like we just see it everywhere on Instagram and everywhere day to day, and it's like 50% of what we talk about is signs and sign painting. So yeah, we forget about that, but yeah, I think people are really interested in like our group altogether. And it also means we can design new things, and we can, you know, Bungo Sign Co logo is really fun to design, and we're going to get some merchandise on the go and stickers and just like really go for it, because it feels like something that's like bigger and we can really get our teeth stuck into. Our advice for the Priest Sign Writing Squad and other women wanting to get into it is not to be put off getting into it, because there are women who paint, as you know, because we're sitting here talking to you about painting signs, and to not get put off just because you see men everywhere. We have a tendency, I think more so as women, to just not think that we have skills and not have confidence in what we do, but you just need to fully go for it if you're wanting to paint.
Yeah, be bold and be brave and just don't give up with it. If you enjoy it, just keep going. You know, and it might not take off straight away, but if you enjoy it, just keep practicing, practicing.
Paint all the time, like
put
constantly.
It out there.
Yeah. And you'll find a niche, and you can start working like within people in that niche, and you'll see that folk will ask you to do more and more work. And there's just so many things you can get into, so you might as well just pick something that you like and just go for it.
Yeah.